Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I'm level 100.
And I'm Claire, and I've come up with 100 game ideas.
And this is Make That Game,
where we pitch the latest,
the greatest,
new video game ideas
that will never get made.
No.
And that's right. It's episode 100.
It's episode 100. Actually, I haven't made 100
I was going to say.
Because I was out a couple times.
You were out a couple times. Neither of us have hit 100. I mean, if you count rapid fire round, we've both hit well over 100.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah. Neither of us have quit.
We've made a lot of games, I'll say.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've come up with ideas for a lot of
Correct.
games. We've made
we don't make
zero games.
We
right.
don't do that
Obviously.
here. We've done 100 episodes of not making video games.
Exactly.
We just tell you video games that you could make.
Exactly.
And then we order you, demand you to get out there and make them.
That's how this show goes. So thank you, listener, for being with us.
For 100 episodes.
For 100.
Or one episode.
Episodes. Or if this is your first episode, welcome to episode 100.
Yeah. Welcome. We finally got good. I promise.
I like our podcast. I listen to our podcast in the car.
Wow. But no, I mean like early days, our microphones, now that we've got this closet.
Right. The not having good microphones is a classic podcast trajectory. It's like the hero's journey.
That's true. You start off and you get the diehard fan base who listens to you when you sound like you're in an active aquarium filter.
Right. And you think it's fine and you're like, this is fine, but it's really not fine.
Yeah. So just before we jump into what we actually do here, I do want to bring up there is a video game industry related strike going on.
Yes, and we're very pro-union on Make That Game.
We are pro-union on Make That Game, especially video game unions, because the reason my day job isn't video games is because when I was getting careers in software development, gaming was not a very good looking career trajectory. There was lots of burnout, blah, 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 and that's from like the coding side. And I'm glad to see like Bethesda, one of the companies that like one of the big companies just like unionized their workforce. And yeah, so who is striking now and what do we as gamers do about that?
Yeah, so right now it's actually SAG-AFTRA, so it's another Actors Guild strike, but that covers voice actors and motion capture actors for video games. So that is specifically what is being striked right now.
Okay.
I don't know. And it's for like pretty much any game from what I could see. There are some exceptions, but I couldn't find the exceptions.
I don't think Super Mario uses mocap. Actually, maybe it does.
And they do use voice actors.
They do. Yeah. But okay, what do I as the king of gamers do in my day-to-day life to support this?
So
strike?
as of like yesterday, from what I could see, is they're not asking gamers to stop streaming games or stop talking about games. They just want people to talk about it and be aware of it. So like make it known that this is happening. We're in the awareness phase.
There's no boycott or anything.
Right. They're not asking for a boycott.
We're not being scabs if we buy or play games.
No. Really, it's the only like the ongoing game production. So if you're asked to like voice a character in a game, that would be where you would want to say no.
Yes. Okay. If they're trying to get some non-guild work.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's where you'd want to at least do some research, because it is possible there's some studios and some games that might be exempt, just like with the actors strike, there were exempt things. But just be really careful out there if you are someone who works in voiceover and maybe aren't union or want to become union. But yeah, they're hoping for, it's a very similar goal as the actors strike. So I mean, there's the obvious like better pay and benefits, but the biggest thing is AI for sure. So basically wanting to avoid them scanning their body in the sense of motion capture like one time and being able to use that to train an AI model and use it for like infinity.
Oh, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
That's really why they're doing it, is because they want to put that into contracts that's allowed. And they're like, no, that's not what we want. So it's mostly about AI.
Wow.
Same with voices too, but yeah.
Okay, so I go out in my backyard. I put a bunch of bubbles. I wear a morph suit. I put a bunch of ping pong balls on me. I mocap myself. Am I being a scab? This is unrelated to the question.
Yeah.
I don't actually understand with like screen actors guild stuff like SAG-AFTRA or
Right.
really anything, like, can I as an independent do things without going through the guild? This is such a tangent. No, you know what? I'll ask
okay.
offline.
All right.
If
Well,
that's-
I'll say short answer. You can still mocap yourself in your own backyard if you so chose. But I would say that the question would come in if you were involving other people, if you were selling the product, etc. So
okay, yeah, okay.
But we can talk about that offline. Or listeners, if you want to hear us talk about it on the podcast, email us, makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com,
Yeah.
and we'll make an episode just about that for some reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Why
it's
not, right?
relevant
All right.
somehow.
But we do, though we like to share gaming news, what we really do here is tell each other
Pitch
game
games.
ideas. Yeah.
Yes. You have one?
I do have one.
You want to tell me about it?
Yeah, it's going to go quick. It's a very vibey game.
Okay.
Maybe even like an internet game. Like it would be a Flash game if Flash games were
Okay.
still around.
Well, you can make games with even Unity you can embed in a web browser. You can still make like what would be considered a Flash game, just like an embedded in a browser game.
Yeah. So
that can exist.
it's kind of also like an art game. And I see it as having like okay, so it's called Find the Cat. And it's I would say it's like a combo of like the I Spy books and Where's Waldo. So the idea is there's just these really intricately drawn vignettes and you'll listen to some cool lo-fi beats and you're trying to find the cat.
And you just click cats?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think what would be cool is a community element where like community artists can draw scenes and like submit them.
Like having like build your own tools like Mario Maker.
Kind of, yeah. And that, but then
I chose Mario
yeah, I'm
Maker.
not exactly sure, but like, yeah, the idea would be artists could like submit them to the game, and obviously they'd have to, the game would like, there'd be mods or devs or something like putting it into the game, but that way you could like, you could get your artwork out there. There'd be like an potentially infinite scale of art, like it could always be different. Like you'd start the game with a lot of art built into it, but there could be like a constant shuffle of that. And yeah, just find the cat.
Okay. Wow.
Maybe multiple cats in a room.
A hidden
but
object game.
yeah.
Is the genre. Yeah. It would be pretty easy to make like tools that anyone could use to like do that and then have some kind of vetting process. But then I'm thinking about that, and we were just talking about unions, and that's just asking artists to do.
Well, no,
free
they
work
would
for.
like get paid for it.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah. It would just be like, I think there's like a cool community element of like,
Yeah.
like it doesn't all have to be designed by like the same artist who first started the game.
Okay.
It'd be like like a constant open call. But no, if they picked the art, they would pay
Okay.
them for it. Obviously.
You hear that, potential game maker? If you use that idea, you got to pay the artists.
We
No
pay
AI.
artists, no AI,
and
and that's why there has to be a vetting process. I feel like people would be so down to like make this an AI generated situation, and that's not the point. But yeah, just cool beats, finding cats, maybe like rain sounds. I don't know, just picture it as like a vibe.
Rain sounds.
Yeah,
Wow.
like you're looking, and they'd be like, it's very intricate, so that's why it's because with hidden objects, it has to be hard to see it. So
1 in 100 times, it's just like kitten ASMR. Just soft little meows and
little purrs. Oh man,
And you
yeah.
hear them thumping around with their clumsy.
I mean, doesn't
little
this sound
kitten.
great? Doesn't this sound like you could play it before bed? It's just a vibe.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Neat. All right. What's the name?
Find the cat.
Find the cat. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
It tells you exactly what you're.
It's
signing
inspired
up
by
for.
us not being able to find the cat when we got home today from breakfast. Despite him being where I expected him to be.
Folks, let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it. In fact, let's talk about
Your game idea.
6 degrees of carcinization.
Okay. Wow.
Carcinization, if you don't know what that is
that the crab thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the process by which many different life forms have separately evolved to become crab. And so I thought it would be neat if there was like a roguelike sort of game. Roguelite. And I don't actually know what the gameplay loop, because like it's pretty open-ended. But you could just do it as like a series of choices or whatever, but basically you start as some kind of creature with like certain traits, and your goal is to pick choices or like level up and gain traits in such a way as you eventually become a crab. And
Okay, all right.
the less steps, the better. Hence the 6 degrees of carcinization part, because it also sounds like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So like,
well, yeah, that's
a perfect game is becoming crab in 6 steps or less, I guess. But you can go further than that. That's just like a funny little reference, effectively. So I don't know if it's actually like you're walking around as some kind of entity and you're like battling other entities in like a classic roguelike sense where, you know, grid-based, turn-based stuff, gain experience, level up, and then when you level up, you get like traits.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are supposed to pick the traits that bring you closer to crab. Or I don't know if it's just like a card-based thing or just literally dialogue options where it's like, you know, your species has evolved for 1,000 years. There's a food shortage. Do you A, B, or C? And then depending on what you pick, you get like a species trait that is either more or less crab.
Okay. I mean, I like it. I think crabs are really hot right now.
Yeah.
We've got another crab's treasure going
So
very
hot.
strong. So great harnessing of that. I mean, just
like a barnacle, I'm jumping on that fad.
Yeah, I'm locked on. I think
Did I say cardinal?
No,
Or
you said
I said barnacle.
You
okay.
said the right word.
I just suddenly got really paranoid that I said a completely wrong word.
You said it correctly.
Okay. Yep.
I would have, if you said cardinal, I would have said something about that.
And also barnacles don't jump, but we all know where.
We know what you meant.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say that because my personal preference is not card-based video games. I'm like, just play a card game. So I would prefer. I think it would be cool. Maybe like a combo of like text-based and also like challenges that you have to face. Like your
like you pick like a trait and then you play a level.
Yeah, with
that like exemplifies that trait that you just picked.
That'd be cool, yes.
So like, okay, here's like a food gathering level. And like the level is the same no matter what you pick, but like if you choose eating meat, you have to collect the meat in the level. If you choose eating vegetables,
and that encourages replayability.
That's true. Yeah, that could, yeah. So that would be like an edutainment game, I think. That would be really fun for like kids.
Yeah, I guess.
Small children.
I mean, I think it'd also be fun for anybody, but...
No, any game with edutainment, educational value.
I mean, is it really? It's not edutainment because becoming a crab isn't necessarily the most. It's not just about evolution. It's about becoming a crab.
It feels like It feels like pick a choice, play a mini game is like the classic edutainment setup.
Is it?
Maybe. Does that not feel edutainment-y to you?
No.
Really?
I mean, it doesn't feel not like you could make an edutainment game that has that, but like I can't think of playing a game like that.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Right.
It's just like the ones I played as a kid weren't like that.
I guess I didn't play that many as a kid, but like all the ones that I can think of are like, oh, we're learning about pyramids. So here's like, well, I guess you don't make choices there. You just get a little cutscene and then you play like a mini game about putting logs in math. I don't know. I'm rambling. Let's ramble about something specific.
Okay.
We go on into the game discussion.
Oh wow,
here we are.
Games so quick. This is what happens in 100 episodes.
We had short ideas this time.
Yeah.
We didn't have. It's my fault. I didn't have mechanics to talk about.
And you.
I was just like, yeah, it could have mechanics, whereas normally, I normally have in-depth mechanics that I try to explain. Everyone gets confused about. And they're like, what is this guy saying? You press the up button to bite with the left wolf, and if you press the down button, the wolf on the right will bite. And then you can combo, and then people just turn off.
Yeah.
I can tell. So
No,
I didn't do that today.
I think, but that's game design. I don't know. I think talking about the mechanics is important because I come here with the like vibes and you come here with the with the other stuff. So anyway, but we are going to have a discussion today. We're going to talk
maybe
about...
that should be... Well, maybe, all right, 100th episode.
Yeah.
Maybe we change the format going forward. Maybe what we do for a while is actually, instead of coming up with game pitches, you do a vibe pitch, and then I do a mechanic pitch.
And then we combine them?
And then we combine it.
Wait, I like
which we
this.
sort of do sometimes.
Yeah. Wait, so I come with the feels and the story, and you come in with like just mechanics?
Yes.
And then we figure out how the story and feels go with your mechanics?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I would pre-plan the mechanics or if I would ad hoc build the mechanics.
I think it would be more fun
air.
if you pre-planned them because then it might not match and then we'd have to do some like mental gymnastics to make them match.
Okay, let's try
All
this.
Right, tune in for episode 101 when we do something
experimental,
a little silly.
We shift up the dynamic. We change the meta.
It's not that different, but you know, we want you to hear so you can let us know if you hate it and we need to go back to regular.
Yeah, if you just want to hear us pitch
but I will say,
our own
after
game ideas.
100 whole episodes, coming up with a game idea once a week is exhausting.
You can tell by how much I slacked for the 100th episode with
Both
no
of
mechanics.
us.
Wow.
And I came up with one, literally confessed to coming up with it as coming home from breakfast because it was based on our cat. So
you didn't have to admit that.
I know, but
air.
I did because it was funny because we couldn't find Lewis.
All right.
We did find him. Anyway.
Discussion segment. We just discussed a new segment, a new format.
But we are going to discuss, today we're going to discuss dialogue wheels.
Okay.
Now, this came about because I saw a TikTok. I wanted to cite the TikToker.
Okay.
At Whims Academy. It's pretty fun to say.
WHIMSICADEMY. That's a TikToker.
Whims Academy. Yes. And what's cool is she has a series called No Fun Patents, which is about any patents that have existed that kind of block fun in the sense of like people can't use them, obviously, because they're patented. But a lot of the topics are video games, and one was the dialogue wheel, which is patented by EA.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you want to describe what the dialogue wheel is, just briefly for our listeners?
Yeah, the dialogue wheel is your character in your video game is talking to another character, and a little circle appears, and around the edge of the circle there are various dialogue choices representing things that you can make your character say to advance or end the conversation. So like you walk up to a farmer and he says, "Good day, my lord. Could you help me plant crops?"
Yeah.
And then your dialogue wheel says, "Yes, no, I'll kill you if you don't give me gold." And then, you pick it. And then when you select the yes, your character, I'm going to do a bit.
Okay. Thanks for the warning.
I just need to make it clear because it won't be obvious, but you say yes and your character says, "Of course I'll help you, you arsehole." And then you're like, "Whoa, that's not what I meant." And then you say no, and they say, "No, I won't help you. I'll do it all myself." And then the kill you option is the joke here is that the dialogue wheel has historically been very under and poorly used by the company that has it patented, where often in almost in every single game that I've played that has the dialogue wheel, so this is all going to be like the BioWare games, they give you a very short blurb of what your response is going to be. And then the actual action might not be clear from what you just selected.
So,
that's a writing error. That's
right. But I have a different experience with dialogue wheels, and it's The Sims.
Sims has dialogue wheels?
Well, I guess, yeah. It's how you do anything in The Sims.
Well, that's an action wheel.
I guess, but it's also dialogue. Like when you talk to a Sim, it's a wheel.
Okay. I didn't know there was conversations in Sims.
Yeah, you have conversations with Sims. That's...
Wow.
I mean, I guess they're kind of both action and dialogue because, like, they're not speaking English, but, like, when you talk to another Sim, you like, choose things to say.
Oh.
And that impacts your
I've
relationship.
played Sims before, but I don't think I've ever I had a conversation in game.
I'll have to show it to you. But
like I remember there is like as an action wheel, you can
Yeah.
like select the action to flirt with a character.
Yeah.
But that's just like performing like that.
I guess it's an action, but I mean,
That's
it's still
not like
a
an
wheel.
ongoing dialogue where
I guess.
character X says something.
I don't know. I still thought of it as a dialogue wheel, though. It's
Well,
a very similar mechanic.
So in order for it to be a dialogue wheel, and I could be wrong on this, but this is my understanding of like all these things, because like other games have action wheels, but EA specifically has dialogue wheel. It needs to be conversational. So like NPC needs to say something, whether it's in Simlish or it's just a little pop-up that says NPC is being mean to you, and then if it gives you options on how to like react to that in a conversational dialogue-ish way, if it gives you the option be mean back, walk away, laugh it off, then I would say that that's like conversational, even if it's not directly dialogue because it's like Simlish. But if it's like literally just I press this button to tell a joke to this other character, and then that's the end of it. That's that to me is just an action.
Mechanically, it's basically the same, the wheel part.
Yes.
Anyway, what was interesting about what Whims Academy was saying is that the benefit of dialogue wheels is, one, it's a lot faster than like having a list of dialogue options.
Yes.
As far as like motion, like clicking and stuff. And then two, if you're using it well, which it sounds like they don't always, but that you can put similar responses in similar locations on the wheel, which makes it easier for the gamer to like respond. So like if a positive response was always at the top, then like you can actually move quicker without really reading the whole thing, which is cool.
Yes, and that I have seen that. So in all the examples that I can think of off the top of my head, and I might be misremembering, it's been a while since I've played like a BioWare RPG.
Mm-hmm.
But most of them are good option top, bad option bottom. Like, I'd love to help you top, I will punch you in the face bottom. Like it is in that situation. So if you are like, I'm playing the good character, I just always pick the top left option.
And I think that's nice. I think that's like a nice mechanic. I really do.
Yeah.
But now I think I thought I was like, man, I've been playing dialogue wheels my whole life. And now you're like, you've never played a game with a dialogue wheel. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
So yeah, is quicker something that we want?
It depends on your play style.
I guess it depends on the play style, but like, yeah, if we're just making it easier to skip dialogue, then I guess the dialogue exists for players who want that. But like with a list of options, it can give you either exactly what your character is going to say, or it can give you additional context in a way that the wheel can't. Like if you are working with like 20 characters of space maximum on the wheel because of how like the UI is laid out, you're never going to say like the character's full line. Pretty much the best you can do is like have like a little tonal box be like rudely yes.
Okay, but like I like that though because it saves the surprise for later. Like if I select a dialogue box and I see the whole dialogue and then I say it exactly verbatim of what I just read, I read it twice. That's annoying.
That's true. The way that you could do that is you could just have it be implied that your character says the line that you click. I've never seen
that in a game before, have I?
But that's how like all the Elder Scrolls games do it. Is your character doesn't have any voice acting, so whatever you pick, it can be like a full sentence. The NPCs actually respond to the sentence that was clicked without like your character
the games
physically
I've
saying
played
anything.
don't do that. And it doesn't have to have voice actors either because I'm playing the Cosmic Witch Sisterhood, and that game you have dialogue options and you click one and then it says it. It like types it out.
Okay.
So
that's a little weird, and it never adds anything.
It does add stuff sometimes, but usually only after the fact. Like you'll say it and then the character will respond and then there'll be a conversation based on that you don't get to pick. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, so like you pick one point and then it kind of is like a full branch. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense then. That does make sense to me. I would probably just skip the specific voice box or dialogue box where they repeat what you just selected. I just have not seen the dialogue box used in a
wheel, you mean?
a dialogue wheel used in an engaging enough way for me to think to mourn the loss of it in like other games.
I like it, but I don't know anymore because I guess I've never used it.
Sorry, I'm blowing your mind.
I mean, I guess like the wheel structure I've used a lot, and I like that better than a list. I think it's easier to read.
It is a quick way of doing things, and like other games will have either actions tied to a wheel, especially like controller-based games.
Yeah,
they will tie it to the wheels.
even like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom has the wheel for selecting ability use.
Yeah, they have the ability wheel. They have the item wheel, I think. No, it's just abilities. Okay, yeah. But it's a convenient way. When you have low information required options, and like a lot of them, it's a very convenient way to do it, especially with how controllers are set up to be in a wheel. So like you press the button, you press the direction, you like know the direction, you know that the ability that you want, boom. But when it's a high information required choice like dialogue, I feel like it's not suitable because there's no way of displaying the high amount of information required, and it takes me out personally when the option is yes, and then it turns out that has wild consequences that you would never get from just
that. Like you said, is bad writing, and that would take me out. But in general, truncated dialogue options actually help me stay in the game. Because realistically, I wouldn't be like reading I don't think about every single word I'm going to say before I say it. I think a little bit about the pith of what I'm going to say, and then I say it.
The pith?
That's like the meat of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the essence of it.
Yeah.
Before I speak, so it feels more like it just like feels like it will flow better when they don't give me the full. I'm not going to read that. That's exhausting. It's like grocery shopping. Too many options. Don't give it to me.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're saying you don't miss. You're like, EA can keep that. I don't
EA
care.
can keep it.
I'm going to have to play a game with an actual dialogue wheel because apparently I haven't.
If EA comes out with a game that actually uses it super well and I'm like, oh, holy crap, this is revolutionary, then I'll change my mind. I'll be like, EA, now that you've like unlocked the potential, you've got to let it free. But for right now, you can keep that bird caged up. Because, it's not singing a song that I'm particularly fond of. So until you teach it, Mambo number 5.
Mambo number 5. I'm trying to find a list of games with dialogue wheels. Wow, now there's dialogue wheels and why they are ruining RPGs. Long post, Reddit. Okay, great.
What? Ruining RPGs?
That's what it
Not
says.
enough RPGs? Okay, I disagree with that take. Like at a face level without having actually read the arguments, just because
it takes a lot away from the role-playing experience. This is what they say.
Okay, I
They're
agree
talking
with
about
that.
Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2.
But like EA has a patent on it, so like RPGs
it's
as
not
a whole
ruining it,
can't
right? Yeah.
even use these.
Well,
it's
maybe this poster wrote it before. It's 10 years ago, so they might not have known it had a patent. They were like, "This is going to be the worst thing that hit."
Maybe they don't even know that the games that they're talking about are like all by the same company.
Right? They're like, "This is good. This is the worst thing that's going to hit RPGs," and then they find out that like it literally can't hit anymore, and they're like, "Oh."
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to find a list of dialogue wheels. Then there's a Medium article in defense of dialogue wheels.
So
it's a hot debate. We really picked a good one.
Pretty much any RPG by EA, specifically like BioWare. So like Dragon Age, Mass Effect, Jade Empire, I believe, used a dialogue wheel. Knights of the Old Republic is a Star Wars
see if
game.
There's any that I could play, but I feel like.
Well, I have some games that you can play. Oh, here. We'll talk offline.
Okay, because I want to be able to speak to this issue for real. I thought I was coming here with experience, so I want to come back and like.
Okay, you want to revisit it?
I want to revisit it in a few weeks after I've played something with it to really see if because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm defending it over here, but I've never actually used it.
Okay, yeah, we'll do some independent research.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll get back to this, but for right now, I think it's time to move on to the rapid fire round, our marquee segment. I don't actually know if it's our marquee segment.
What does
I don't
that
know.
mean?
The most important, like the one that brings people in. Like if we were advertising
if
on
this
the
was
street.
the marquee segment, we should do it first. So it's pretty sad to leave it for last.
Oh no, it's what people stick around for.
Oh well, but what if they don't even know it's coming because they leave after the first 5 minutes?
Well, then our marquee's not big enough. Because I believe the marquee is like
it's the
the
main
sign
act.
on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, I
okay.
get what that means. But
So
I mean,
explain
we have
what
been
we
doing
do
it.
here.
We've been doing this. We've done this literally 100 times. We've never not done a rapid fire round in an episode. I feel.
Oh.
Which means we've had at least 100 rapid fire games, but more like 300. Closer to 300. There's been times we've only done 1 or 2, that's happened. So it's not exactly 300, but that's a lot of games. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 random words. We're going to generate a game idea based on those 3 words, and we only have 5 minutes to do it.
I'm starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Proud Bill Division. Now, I'm just going to take...
Politics game.
No, listen to me. Look at me. Bill Ducks. It's a duck game.
Okay.
Maybe it is a politic, but it's ducks.
Okay.
Maybe it's about the best duck in the pond.
The most proud duck?
Mm-hmm.
Proud to be a duck?
Proud to be a duck.
Okay, so it's a duck popularity contest?
Okay.
Okay. And division? Oh, you could have different divisions of like duck beauty contest? Duck beauty contest.
But
Duck.
what if it's like Duck Olympics?
Okay.
So there's like swimming and diving.
Or duck high school sports, because they have different divisions.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Or like college sports, so like they have D3,
yes,
D4.
Yes. So you're trying to get to the highest division sport.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you'd be a proud duck athlete.
Yes. Are we just doing Mighty Ducks and it's
I don't know what the Mighty Ducks.
That's the hockey team, the Mighty Ducks?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Okay, never mind then.
I don't know the story.
Yeah.
It's not real ducks, right?
No.
Okay.
Well, in the cartoon, I think they made a cartoon where it was ducks, but
okay. Well.
But we're going to be real ducks.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like in a like I want the setting to be ducks, like it's ponds.
Okay.
It's
yes.
trees.
Are a specific sport?
Multiple.
Multiple.
So there's lots of mini games.
Okay. Okay, so
Maybe
like
you're
a duck college and you want to get all your sports programs into D1. Okay.
Yeah, and you get to play duck soccer, duck basketball, duck lacrosse.
I have a feeling that ducks would be extremely bad at all of these sports.
That's what's fun about it. I mean, I guess we have to have like swim racing, I guess, or like diving. But duck soccer sounds really funny.
And okay, now here's my biggest question. Do these ducks compete against other ducks or humans?
No, other ducks.
Okay.
Duck v. duck.
Okay. All right. That's a little less exciting for me personally, but
I mean, if you wanted to be humans, we can, but I just feel like it's better duck v. duck.
Okay.
And the opposing team is like the computer, no matter what. So.
Yeah. All right. Is the name of the game Duck U : sports teams?
Okay, I like Duck U. I think we can do better with the colon.
Duck U.
Duck U journey to D1. Duck U path road to D1. Duck
Is
U,
there like some kind of pun we can make about ponds?
Duck U Ponda replay.
What? Ponda replay?
Ponda replay is a song, a very famous song from the 2000s.
Okay, never heard of it.
Okay. Well, Duck U fish your wish.
No. Okay. All right. Okay. It needs to mention sports specifically.
Okay.
It needs to talk about sports.
Duck U pom-poms the sports.
Athletic.
Quack-Letics.
Duck U Quack-Letics. How about that?
Yeah, Duck U
right.
Quack-Letics.
Boom.
There we go. Done.
1 minute and 14 seconds left.
Beautiful game.
Beautiful.
All right. We're doing it again.
Yep, I'm starting now. In 1, 2, 3, go.
We have another. Okay. Cry. Goalkeeper. Huge. This could be a very silly game where you play a goalkeeper who's really huge and intimidating, but like also very sensitive.
No, the enemy goalkeeper is huge but very sensitive. No, okay, no. We always come up with dialogue games.
Yeah.
And we never come up with like actual mechanics for like
I would
how
not
to
say
do the
never.
dialogue.
Okay. So
We're always just like, oh yeah, you'll click some dialogue options, but I feel like that's a little bit of a cop out. And this is the 100th episode.
Right.
It's time for some change.
That's not what I didn't suggest the dialogue game.
No, I was about
Okay.
to. I'm cutting myself off is where
I
I'm
was
going
thinking
with
the
this.
issue would be like you have to. I can't like I am struggling with the mechanic, but the idea is like you're like afraid of the ball, like you're like but you're the goalie, so you have to like somehow get your player character who's the goalie to like actually goal keep.
I think so. I like the idea. I think it works a lot better if the opponent is the one, because you can program it to act with fear rather than trying to like.
But then that's
make
too
a
easy
mechanic.
because then you wouldn't want to fix it. You'd just keep getting goals because he'd be scared. So it's like where's the game?
So going back to I don't come up with mechanics for how to do. I actually came up with a mechanic that I think is really fun.
Okay.
So you're playing hockey or soccer or some kind of thing with a goal, and not only is there the actual puck or ball on the field, there's also like insults or something like that you like pick up, and it functionally is the ball, but like you kick it at them to then make them cry, and then you have to bring the puck.
So he starts as like a regular goalie.
Huge guy that like you can't get past him at all.
But the more you insult him, the more you break his hard shell. I think that's a fun mechanic.
Yes, and so it's
you have to find them and kick
manage
them in,
the actual.
So it's like
right. So you're managing multiple
That's
things at the same time. So yeah, like the representation of the dialogue is, instead of just being like, oh yeah, you press the Y button and he does like a taunt and then that whatever. This is no, you get it. It's treated exactly like a puck, but that means that you can't have the puck at the same time. Boom. I think that's an interesting idea.
I do too. I think that's cool.
And I think what even can happen is like the crowd, like to bring it into the diegeticness or something, like the crowd has hecklers and they're throwing the insults into the
for
field,
you to like be able to kick it.
and then so you get the insults from the audience and then give them to the goalie, and then that makes him vulnerable to score actual goals.
I do think it would be hard for me to play emotionally because I'd feel bad for the goalie.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's a cool mechanic.
But he would like look really evil and mean.
Yeah, but it's a cool mechanic. So
and
anyway,
the insults would just be silly.
We do have to name the game.
Yeah. Duck you.
No.
Hecklers. Heck-Lathlets.
Sticks and stones.
Heck-Letics?
May break my bones.
Heck-Letics.
But words.
Wait, sticks and stones?
Sticks and stones.
Okay. Well, maybe it's both soccer and hockey, because it's sticks is the hockey sticks,
okay, so
and
we just
stones
added a
is the
whole
soccer
nother
ball.
element into it.
I mean, the gameplay, I feel like the gameplay can be pretty much the same. It's just like a skin.
Okay, sticks and stones. Is that what we're calling it?
I think so, yeah.
All right, sticks and stones.
Yeah, sticks and stones, a duck game.
No.
Okay, sticks and stones, 55 seconds left.
All right. Final round of episode 100.
All right. Oh, wait, I need to start this. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Black, output, surface.
Black, output, and surface?
I'm thinking some kind of spooky lake situation.
Where's output come into that?
I don't know. I just was throwing something out there. It could be, what if it's like a spooky river?
Okay.
And it's black river. So you can't see inside. You can't see below the surface. The output is that the river is being used for mills. So it's generating energy output.
Okay.
And I don't know what the game is. But I set the scene.
Okay. Okay, so you know how like logs and also like barges and stuff would be sent down rivers, and that was a big way, like that's why mills like exist on rivers and stuff, not only for the energy but also because you could transport the goods that way. I like it being like a management game. You are managing a mill, some kind of factory on a river somehow. You have to get the input and then you like put your output down the river, but it is a haunted river.
Yeah, so you might lose merchandise to the haunts.
You might lose merchandise, so a layer of it is basically like security. So like guards like hiring guards for like the barges and
yeah.
whatnot, but also there could be like a spiritual component where like maybe if you have like guards, but you also like do a holy water blessing on the boat, like it'll make it more resistant. And maybe there's different kinds of threats. Maybe
I was gonna
there's
say you could kind of learn as you go about like, okay, like this type of merchandise is way more susceptible to like ghosts.
Yeah,
or
and
whatever.
so it requires certain security.
Maybe you receive materials because you said it's input and output, and the materials are haunted, and you have to like cleanse them before you use them.
Yeah, like if I sent uncleansed shirts down the river from my textile mill, that is going to attract goblins or red caps or something. Okay. So, and then maybe also like the time, you can also like manage the timing of shipments. So like, certain things have to go out because you have to meet quotas and stuff, but maybe you can delay that specific shipment until like after the full moon or something. So werewolves won't attack.
Yeah. But then I think they're also, so like, obviously like just like any business, you have to be fighting against the realities and also the demands of the profit.
Right. Like if this customer demands this load of shirts,
you got to figure it out. And maybe it won't work. I don't know. But yeah. Cool. All right. I can picture this pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Spooky River. No.
I was going to call it Black River Mill.
Ooh, Black River Mill?
I'm trying to think of a cool sub name, but I can't yet.
I think when you add colons, it gets goofy.
Okay, so you want to keep it cool?
I think it just has to stay.
All right, then we'll keep it
Mill.
cool, even though we're goofy.
1 minute 56 seconds left. Black River Mill, possibly the first spooky management mill game.
Possibly, yeah. I thought you were gonna say this first spooky game we've come up with, and I'm like, no.
No, the first spooky game in the world.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
No other games have ever been spooky.
All right, well, that is our podcast. That is our 100th episode.
Yeah, I hope it was a big one. I hope you all really felt the 100thness of it.
Yeah, I hope it came through. But if you want to keep feeling the 100thness and more, you can email us at makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. You can send us game ideas, games you think we should play, discussion questions and topics that you think we should cover, or just say hi. You can also find us on social media at MakeThatGamePod. You can follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/MakeThatGame. We do stream once a month. I actually already put our August stream on the calendar because August is busy.
I believe it was the last month of August. The last week. No, the week prior.
Yeah, it is August 24th.
24th, okay.
Yeah, so Saturday, August 24th at 11:30 ET. Mark your calendars now, but also follow us on Twitch so you get a notification. And you can watch replays of those streams on our YouTube, youtube.com/@MakeThatGame. We also do put our podcast there. We are not a video podcast, but you can listen to it on YouTube Music if you prefer that. It's there for you. And we've put stuff there before, so just check it out. And, if you heard a game today that you say, it was the 100th episode, I gotta play that game. Well, the only way you can is if you get out there and
make that game.